Hi, everyone. Welcome to Hungry for More. I'm Jennifer Winder, and this is Robin Mons. And we are so excited to talk to you today about scale mindset. Now, we are literally talking about a scale that you stand on and weigh yourself, but don't let that scare you. I don't know if scare is the right word, because whether you choose to weigh yourself or not weigh yourself, you can still have scale mindset just in your thoughts and your actions. Oh, I didn't eat good yesterday, so I know I'm probably up today. And you can have the same thoughts as if you got on the scale and you were up, honestly. And it can be undaunting. You have people sometimes who like to get on the scale every single day. It doesn't affect them. They want to know if they have gained, if they've stayed the same, if they've lost. You have other people who maybe will get on once a week. Some people who are like, I'm never getting on. And I've coached people before where I've said, you know what? If the scale is causing you so much stress, I want you to stay off of it because it's not doing you any good if it's causing you stress. So today we're going to talk to you about that because there's a couple things that can happen. If you do weigh yourself and you have a weight loss, usually we're filled with excitement, right? And sometimes, like we talked about last week, you may celebrate with a treat, like, oh, I've done so good. I had a loss. I'm going to get a treat. Or you may relax a little bit in what you're doing. It's really interesting how these thoughts can kick in without you even realizing it. You may not be as strict with yourself. This is diet mentality, right? Like, oh, I had a loss. Okay, I don't have to be as strict today. Back in my day where I was going weekly to meet with somebody, I would have a weight loss and I would go eat whatever I wanted right after, no caring at all. And then I would buckle up the next day because I'm like, I have 5 more days to lose again or 6 more days before I go in again. Okay, if you don't lose and you stay neutral, sometimes that can be frustrating. I mean, I guess if you had the day before where you ate a ton of food and then you just stayed neutral, you might go, woohoo, thumbs up. But sometimes that can be frustrating and it can make you question kind of what you're doing. You can be discouraged. And then there's the other one where you get on the scale and you've gained weight. And that can work against you also if your mindset is not in the right place. So you can end up kind of the opposite where you've lost weight. You may treat yourself with some food or get a little easier. If you've gained weight, the mind tends for most people to want to go strict, to buckle down, to restrict, to punish yourself, essentially. So today we want to talk to you about these different things and what the solution to that is, because the scale shouldn't be your friend. It shouldn't be your enemy. It's just a neutral piece of equipment that's giving you information. That's all it is. So,
Yeah.
Robin, what do you want to say to that?
Yeah. The scale is just one feedback device, right?
Yeah.
It's just one place where you can get some feedback. And we have other ways to collect information to see how we're doing, how our body's liking, or what it's asking of us maybe to eat less of or whatever. But the scale is one of the important ways this feedback. Um, and the thoughts you are having when you're on the scale are extremely important because they will impact how you feel. And how you feel sponsors how you act. All right. And obviously, when you're on the scale, you're having thoughts about you and about food and your body. So how you're feeling about you and food and your body is how you're going to act with food and your body. And so what we've seen, throughout the years in the coaching is this very thing where people will report losses and then they're like, hey, what do I do? Like when I lose, I sabotage myself, right? For what you said, they tell themselves, oh, good, I can let loose and whatever. And the thing is, it's not that if you decide that day that a treat is something you want, that's a problem. It's kind of having that beforehand idea of like, I don't have to pay attention. I am going to have a treat no matter what. And again, like your body at the moment you've decided to have it may not want it at that very moment, but the mindset of like, I'm going to get a treat and I deserve
Right.
something that will trump anything and you will do that. So it's not, do you deserve a treat ever or not? It's not about that. It's that mindset will drive your behavior no matter what your body is telling you. So yeah, were you going to say something?
No, no, I'm just listening. I just think it's funny because that energy that goes with it, you're exactly right. Like when I would go to weigh in with my trainer at the time, if I was going to eat whatever after, regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that my
You'd
mind was
already,
made up for that. There was no checking in.
right. Yep. You just knew I get real strict the few days before weigh in. I get the weigh in, get the applause, and then I go and do whatever I want after. And it's already a premeditated decision versus what we encourage and teach of checking in with the body in the moment and seeing what's going on, right? Letting the body dictate, not your mind say, hey, this happened. So now this is how you will eat today. So these scale thoughts are really important because also, you guys, weight management is just, it's a basic self-care thing that we do. It's not this destination that we're like always striving for, right? It's just part of self-care. And so if we're if we're weighing, no pun intended, weighing heavily on the scale to dictate to us every day how to eat, you're going to be all over the place, where this is just about being able to be conscious and take care of the body on a regular basis and not be thrown everywhere because of these thoughts. So let's kind of break down each one. Okay.
Okay.
So on the first one, and you gave some examples. On the first one, when we tend to lose, what we've seen at least with ourselves and with the coaching is there tends to be that thought, okay, awesome. Either I'm going to reward myself with a treat today, or that telling ourselves like, I can let my guard down. I don't have to be so strict.
Right.
When you are in that energy, what happens to your consciousness during the day when you tell yourself, I don't have to worry about it? What happens to the brain?
Well, it just shuts off. It disappears. There is no consciousness.
Right. Yep. You're like, I don't have to worry about this. Now, we're not advocating for worrying about it, but when we tell ourselves that, the message is turn off the brain, don't need to worry, I'm getting a break, right? Well,
Right.
hopefully, if you're eating as a conscious eater, you don't really need a break from that because there's nothing you're restricting yourself over, right? You're just paying attention and eating as a true hunger need, right? And you're just not answering
Right.
to the mind hunger. So when we do that, we turn off the brain. And when the brain is turned off, then of course we're going to just be reactive. And we find ourselves going, shoot, the next day after we weigh, like, oh, I lost 2 pounds and now I'm going backwards, right?
Yeah.
So that mindset is going to drive that behavior. Now, when you are the same, when nothing's happened, like you said, sometimes it's devastating because you're like, I've been doing so good. And so we can kind of get some of those defeating type of thoughts.
Right.
What's the point? My body's not responding. It doesn't matter how strict I'm eating, it's not moving. What
This
happens
is,
energetically?
well, it's discouraging. And I remember if you've ever been trying to lose weight at the same time as your spouse, for me, it would be discouraging because I would hold steady and my husband would be going down, down, down. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? But realistically, when I lost my 50 pounds, I would have a loss about every 3 weeks. So most of
Mm.
the time, the scale was very neutral for me.
Yeah, it would steady and then you drop and then steady. Yeah. Yeah. So it can be if you are thinking these thoughts that make you feel discouraged. Well, how do we tend to behave with food when the inner state of being is discouragement and defeat? And it's like throw in the towel. It doesn't matter what I do.
Right.
Right.
And if you're maintaining the thought, I know here's a thought that I had a lot is I might as well eat what I want today because it's not like I went down anyway. We can start tomorrow and I'm still going to be at ground zero.
Yes.
It
Very good.
wasn't until
Very
I
common.
consistently was consciously eating, my body would sometimes go, okay, you've been doing this for 2 weeks.
We're ready to
Thank
release.
you. You're not overfeeding me. Thank
Yeah.
you for eating when you're hungry. Now I'm ready to lose some weight.
Yes. Right. So when that mindset accompanies us throughout the day, you can be sure, just like you said, what's the point? What's the point? And when what's the point is the attitude and feeling inside, the behavior completely matches. And then we keep showing ourselves, see, what's the point? Right? Because then
Right.
from that place, we're going to go up or we're still going to stay the same. So then the third one is when you see the scale go up. And again, it could be, sometimes I've had like the squeakiest clean eating, if you will, and my scale will go up, right? And it's easy to be like, what? Or you can overdo it and you're like, I know it's going to go up, and it does. And you're still like, oh,
Yeah.
but this is when we tend to start going, okay, I'm going to fast until 2 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to cut sugar off the rest of the week. We want an answer to that. We want, like you said, sometimes it's in a punishing way, and sometimes it's just like in a fear-based, like I got to get a handle on this type of fear.
Right.
Either way, either one is going to have you making plans that are going to, from this place, over restrict yourself, and from that energy.
Now, let me ask you a question with that and a positive side note of it. If we talk about using the scale for information and for
Yeah,
feedback, because I have also been where I'm, being conscious about eating, I'm doing well, but there are foods that don't
yeah.
react well in my body, and the
Mhm.
scale lets me know. And it's funny because I can almost use that as a tool to say, wow, that really caused inflammation in your body. We're going to
Yeah,
stay away from that. It's not this,
right.
whoa, okay, I can't eat anything. I've got to get that pound back off. It's more like, that is really interesting. Okay, well, I know that if I eat that, I'm probably going to go up a little in weight. That's okay, because 2 days later, I'll probably be right back down.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a good question. And this is an important distinction. Part of this feedback is to help us, right? It's to help us gauge, like, oh, I know for me, same thing. If I have meals that are like, the scales let me know that when I have more than one meal with starches in it, that I'm going to go up, but it can handle one kind of starchier meal,
Right,
right? In it, and I can maintain. And so that feedback's important, and we can make decisions from there for sure. But notice the difference in your energy and your
right,
intention, right? It's one thing to go, oh, okay, all right. This is giving me the feedback. I'm reviewing some things and I'm seeing, you know what, I was pretty heavy yesterday on sugars and stuff. And so, yes, this is letting me know this amount of sugar in a day is more than what my body wants. And so I can make the adjustments. It's
right,
another to be like, I am coming down hard on you. Oh, I remember saying to myself, all hands on deck. Like, we are not eating sugar the rest of the week. We have
right,
got to get this under control. There is an energetic difference between these, you guys, and that's what matters. You will make decisions at time to not eat certain foods or to be sparingly with them, right? I'm that way with certain foods as well, because I know of how it interacts. And so I'm more
right,
sparing with it. But it's a difference between that and informed decision out of true caring of how, what my body is giving me, versus just based on this number and how I'm thinking, and this scares me and I'm going to punish you and we've got to go hard. That energy is different, and it will sabotage you. You may be successful for a couple days of cutting it out. We always see the pattern come back to that damn eat that we talk about. That energy at some point gives out. You finally give into the food, and now your behavior matches that intense energy with food.
right.
So
So you
yes,
use
important
the
distinction.
scale as a tool. It's just feeding you back information. It's not those funny memes where it says you screwed up in the thing
Right,
or you did this.
right.
Um,
Or
it's
I know how I'm
cool.
going to eat today based on my scale is going to
No,
tell me how I'm eating today.
no,
Mm,
because we don't teach you that, right? We don't teach you, oh, you got to eat this way or that way. So what is the mindset tool that we want to give them to help
yes.
them with scale mindset?
Oh, well, it's good news. And it makes such a difference. Okay. This makes such a difference. This is one of the favorite parts when our clients learn this and they have this experience with the scale. It completely changes. And it's the same mindset for each of these scenarios, which is great. We don't have to have different mindsets. We've got to remember it's one mindset. So if I lost and my brain's like, woohoo, I lost, woo, I'm so excited, be excited. And when it's like, hey, now I don't have to worry, da da da, we say, nope, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. Okay. That kind of diffuses everything to, hey, I'm still going to pay attention and I'm still going to eat in response to true hunger need. And when I do, I'll make a decision at that time of what I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
right? So unless you have leftovers in the fridge and you know that's what you're going to have, but the point is you're not going to be like throwing everything out the window. And the most important foundational piece is no, my body still dictates to me when I'm eating, not my mind based on the results it got back. My body, no matter if I've gained or lost, will continue to give me cues of what it needs. And that's what I'm following. So it's the same mindset for maintenance. Or I mean, when the weight maintains and you get that reflected to you, it's like, okay. And when your brain is kind of like, oh, no fair, or it kind of goes in those places of like, oh, it's just stayed the same no matter what I do. You're like, okay, I'll eat again when I'm hungry. At that point, you can reflect. What are my patterns? Are there certain things I'm eating that I think is holding me up a little bit? You can have some of that reflective time, but as far as how you're eating that day, I'm gonna listen to my body, and when it tells me to eat, that's when I'm gonna eat. And when my mind suggests I eat for other reasons, I'm going to meet those needs, and I'm not gonna eat food,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then same for the last one. I gained. There is no need. Oh man, and there's so much coaching around this. There is no need to go into this extreme strategy. It's to just say, okay, again, you can reflect back and go, what contributed? You might already know. You might know, like, I know I was going to go up based on how I ate. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to listen to my body. And when it tells me it's time to eat, I'm going to eat. And
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to it when it tells me to stop. So it diffuses all that energy, whether it's the we energy of like, I can turn off, or whether it's the defeated energy, it's neutralizes and it's the same. And it's the easiest energy to move and respond to on a daily basis. And that's what we want with weight management. We don't want it to be this roller coaster. So
Right.
this mindset of just like, yeah, what am I going to do about this? I'm going to listen to my body and I'm going to meet my needs when it asks.
Absolutely. I love it. It's so simple and it's so non-threatening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a great way to do it. Use that scale as a tool.
Yeah.
Let it be a help to you to help you know kind of what direction you're headed, where you can pivot, help you be conscious in your decisions.
Mhm.
Um, and it will change things dramatically. It'll definitely change the energy around it, and it will
Yes.
be a feedback tool for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Big, big game changer. You want that energy to be very calm and neutral because that'll dictate how you eat that day. And regardless of where you were on the scale, it will serve you. So give it a try, you
Absolutely.
guys. It's a big game changer.
Okay, thanks everyone. We will see you next week.